Funny podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things,
The podcast.
I am Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
And we are two idioms here to talk about deeply disturbing things with you.
And we don't have Sarah.
We don't have
She's
Sarah.
getting her life organized, whatever
I don't
that
even
means.
know what that means.
And apparently she can do that in one day. When she texted that, I was like, that seems like if that was me, a bigger task.
Well, one of my ways of doing that, I was like, can we move the podcast day to this day and time? And I still got it wrong. I still forgot my entire 8-hour worth of class that I teach
Calendar
today. I know. I'm. How did she do that in one day? I need a little Sarah in my life.
Organize her life?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get to go first, though.
I know you do. So I'm gonna put this
It's
down.
just us, so we can move the mic a little closer to us. And one of us has to remember the disturb meter.
Okay.
Because that's usually Sarah's job.
Sounds good.
I bet you're not going to guess what I'm going to talk about.
I love it when you're like, you're not going to guess it. I probably won't then. I've learned that. Probably not. Is it something about spider webs, like cobwebs?
No.
How about something involving space?
Nope.
Okay, last guess. Something underground tunnels.
No.
Okay, all right. I give it a fair shot.
I want to talk to you about glitter.
Oh gosh, I have a lot of feelings about glitter.
What are your feelings?
Sure. As someone who has a sister who has done drag performances in the past, I've had glitter all over my home, and it does not come out. That's all. And then everything is glitter. That's my feelings.
Everything is glitter. I'm going to share with you about the glitter conspiracy.
Please do.
So I like to reference source material. And in this case, it's really highly relevant. So I'm going to be highly referencing a 2018 New York Times article by Katie Weaver and the Chupel YouTube channel. Probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm calling it Chupel.
That's what you get.
So there's a saying, glitter is the herpes of craft supplies. Have you heard that?
Oh, well, that's kind of what I'm saying as well. It's on my walls and the bathtub and the doorknobs. And
what have you done with glitter?
Anything you touch is now glitter. So.
What's your personal experience with glitter?
Minimal. As a human, as a person.
You've never done crafting or anything with glitter?
My dad often assisted in my school crafting projects growing up. There was seldom use of glitter.
Seldom use.
Yeah, honestly, okay. I mean, I'm trying to think. Probably my most use of glitter has been as a counselor, like occasionally, and then I learned not to do that. Like the one time you use glitter as a counselor, you're like never again, because now it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I've used glitter with some of my youth yoga classes to do a craft thing. And then those same yoga mats I've used with adult classes, and then
people are stuck with glitter.
People don't know it, but they there's always that one piece like on the cheek.
It's like right there, yeah.
And it catches the light, and then you just can't take your eyes off it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a past relationship where I swear it was like once a week it would be like, why is there this glitter? And like there's like these glitter. I'm like, I don't know what you do when you go out, but
there's glitter involved.
There's glitter. I mean, there has to be at this point.
So I just recently used glitter.
And is it important to distinguish real quick the difference between sequins and glitter?
They are different.
Okay, sequins are what?
Bigger,
larger.
And
are they like the older?
And you can sew sequins on stuff.
Oh, is that so? They're like the older cousin or something of the glitter.
Well, they're much bigger.
Much bigger.
And
easier to manage.
They usually have like a little hole that you can thread through and sew them on something.
Okay, so they stay where they're at. They don't carry on to the face.
They don't.
Okay.
But they could.
In theory.
I've licked them and sticked them before. They don't stay long with my saliva glue, but they stay for a little bit. Saliva.
I thought that was intentional.
So you can make lots of things with glitter, tons of things, greeting cards, makeup. clothing, paint, toothbrushes. I have a glittery bowling ball. Glitter bombs. Glitter has been used as forensic evidence because there are tens of thousands of different commercial glitters. And so if there are identical glitter particles, it can be compelling evidence that a suspect has been at a crime scene.
What the?
And they use glitter as evidence in Yellow Jackets.
Interesting. You know what it reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
When I talked about how how forensic psychologists will use the fly larva, I think it was I was talking about, when they die,
you remember my last podcast topic?
And then the maggots
that I ate, fly larva. You're bringing it up already.
Yes, too soon. Anyways, it reminds me of that. So maybe glitter is more accurately represented by maggots and or fly larvae.
Maybe.
Because we can assess where things have been based on where it ends up.
Well, science feed glitter to animals sometimes so that they can track their movements through their sparkly poop.
Oh my gosh, that's like if your hot tub leaks, you're supposed to put Kool-Aid or dye in it, and then you can see where it leaks out of.
Ah, interesting.
You just follow the glitter.
That's so funny. So why do we like glitter? Researchers say it's because
we're part raccoon. I knew it.
We're attracted to sparkly things.
Right.
Because of our innate need to seek out fresh water. And water sparkles.
I didn't know.
And so we're like, sparkle.
That's
shiny,
cool.
Shiny. Squirrel.
Is that why diamonds?
Probably.
Wow. It's like an endless water source on your fingers.
And gold and all that sparkly stuff has value to us.
Because we equate it subconsciously with water, which is
we need it to survive.
Right.
Wow. Sparkles equals survival. Think about that, Macy.
Diamonds really are a man's best friend.
They are.
Wait, is that a thing? Did I say that right? Diamonds are not a man's best friend.
They say diamonds are girls' best
friend.
Dogs are man's best friend. I think we can just leave the gender out of all of that.
Yeah, that's all dumb.
So
dumb.
Everybody can like dogs. Everybody can like diamonds. You want to get into what glitter is? Before I get into the conspiracy?
Yes, let's.
Because this is all leading up to a big conspiracy.
Are they fish scales?
Diamonds?
No.
Glitter? What? We're not even drinking today. You can see it doesn't make a difference.
This is 8 hours of a groups class and an ethics class. My mind's on fish scale.
What is glitter? We're here today speaking about the thing glitter, not the quality, but we are also talking about the quality.
Not a glimmer of glitter or a glob of glitter.
But we are also talking about the quality because glitter, the thing, does in fact glitter, the quality.
It both is and does.
It is and does.
That's fascinating.
It's a noun and an adjective at the same time.
I'm here for that.
So because glitter does in fact glitter, it's probably why it was called glitter.
It just, at this point, if you name it anything else, I don't know, that's just silly. Okay.
I've done a lot of research.
That's great.
So the thing glitter is a modern quote unquote invention, and you'll learn later
synthetic
why I'm using quotes around the word invention.
Your air word.
The official name is aluminum metallized polyethylene terephthalate.
Okay.
Luckily, I don't have to say that again. There are 2 companies that make glitter.
2 only?
2 companies. They're both in New Jersey. Why is that?
What? This is feeling suspect.
One of the companies is very secretive. And the other company is called Glitterex, and it is also very secretive.
Great.
There's a lot of secrecy
Around glitter.
around glitter. So going back to that 2018 New York Times article by Katie Weaver, this is what started this whole glitter conspiracy, was this article. So this journalist went to GlitterX and interviewed the CEO, Babu Shetty. And in the article, she wrote, "The path to enlightenment is littered with trade secrets, vapors, aluminum ingots, CIA levels of obfuscation, the invisible regions of the visible spectrum,
and obviously glitter.
A unit of measurement expressed as 10.6 m, and also New Jersey."
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
And murder. That's what what are those
I don't have murder in my story. I'm sorry.
Oh, but they all those like gosh, what are they called? Like when you watch the shows on the History Channel.
I'll try to tie in
and they're
extraterrestrials. Though,
yeah,
that'll make you feel better.
Yeah, that's a different route. You can either go extraterrestrials or murder.
Or ghosts.
Or ghosts. That is a subcategory that I think is a little bit more specialized. Like it's typically a ghost hunting show.
That's like a lower level.
Yeah. Like yeah. I mean, not lower. We're not saying better or worse.
I mean, like in an organizational chart.
Yeah, like it doesn't like typically come up.
Like the next bullet point that's not a circle, it's like a diamond.
A little more specialized, yeah.
Or it's like a circle that's like
in a diamond,
clear.
like glitter.
Yeah. Most of the glitter GlitterX makes is from plastic, though some varieties are made from aluminum or aluminum coated plastic.
Aluminium.
And this process is called metallization. I like that word. It's so metal.
Metal.
Glitter comes in many shapes and sizes. Most glitter is hexagonal.
I feel like I know that from seeing big glitter, but that also makes me think of sequins again.
Get some glitter out right now.
Because it's so little. You have glitter?
Of course.
I don't.
Counseling office.
I never have glitter on hand. So
the counseling office, I have all that crap.
I don't glitter since working in a high school, and it wasn't my carpet. So
okay, let's pick up one of these tubes and see what your favorite is.
Okay. I don't know how you didn't have it. You even have literally glitter glue in here too.
It does look like little hexagons. Aw.
Oh my goodness. They are.
Impressive.
How do they cut it?
Oh, that's where this whole conspiracy begins. The largest size of glitter is meant for crafts.
This.
Like this.
This is considered large?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The smallest is for uses such as like cosmetics for the lips.
Oh, or
like
eyeshadow?
Like a shimmer or because think about how small those pieces are. You can't even see them.
This probably
like if you had that on your lips, that would be a bit much. That would be like special night out dancing.
I've never done that before, so maybe I just need more glitter in my life, I guess.
Well, you may rethink that after this topic. The primary function of glitter that's sold commercially is aesthetic. So it's for making stuff pretty and shiny and sparkly.
Right. Do you see how much loose glitter you have in here already?
It can't be controlled. Glitter will not be controlled.
Get it away from me. I'm gonna have glitter on my face.
I know, just from its being in the same space as the glitter.
Hand check.
Does it take you back though to working at the high school and making calm down bottles?
Yeah, it's been a while since my last cool down bottle. Calm down, cool down. Yeah.
Okay, so for
these
the pony beads.
Yeah, the pony beads where then you pick out your words and like mine like said like breathe and my name.
Of course. These do get used all the time still.
People love beadwork, and I think that it's a little used coping skill, but it should be used more.
For holographic glitter, it's made from multi-layered material. How many layers, you might wonder?
Does it take to get to the inside? I don't know.
233 layers.
What?
Yeah, that's a lot of layers.
I mean, what you showed me was pretty small, so I can imagine that smaller ones, I guess, would be pretty small.
So this would be for holographic glitter. So do you have any holographs with you right now? Do you have your like a Visa card or a debit card? Has that little thing on it that's a holographic?
Oh, maybe.
Or a passport?
No, I don't carry my passport on my person, but
it might be on IDs too, like a little holographic thingy.
No, that one's metal. That's not.
You don't have a shiny?
Ah, huh?
Oh yeah, see?
Two shiny shines, yes.
There you go. So that's made from 233 layers.
With a piece dove on it.
And it's related to the visible spectrum of light.
And it's like a little rainbow glitter effect when you do the.
Yeah, because
oh my gosh, you have glitter on your chin right here. You have
Damn it!
Gosh,
I did put it up to my face.
Hey.
But the outside of the bottle, not the inside.
Then you're like turn.
Is it catching the light?
No, it's still there. It's forever now.
Yeah.
I'm never getting
it's like
it
you
out.
have to dig it out of your face.
So, I love that happened.
You know the visible spectrum of light: red, orange, yellow, green,
Sure.
blue.
Yes, thank you for the reminder.
So
it's been a while.
So red has the longest wavelength, so the layers of red iridescent film are the thickest and the violet is the thinnest. So if you tilt these sheets before they're cut backward, you'll first see like red, and if it continues going, it'll go through the spectrum.
Okay, which is that little rainbow effect, like the little dove thing had.
But
okay,
if what you use is ultraviolet, which is below violet, then we can't see anything. It'll be clear to us.
Oh, weird. I don't like things that are there that I can't see.
Have
like ghosts.
Well, think of the whole electromagnetic spectrum.
Right.
The part we can see is this little tiny little section of it, which is just the visible light to us. Everything else we can't even see.
We're so limited.
Yes, but they are making products that are outside of our range of what we can see at the glitter factory.
They're making ghosts. It relates, I think. It has to.
I'm sorry. There's no ghosts, there's no murder. I'll try to tie in extraterrestrial if I can.
Okay. I did hear FBI, so
yes.
We're close.
So craft glitter is the thickest and the least technologically advanced. So
Rude.
this is like, yeah,
basic.
It's basic. It's kind
glitter.
of like meant to like glue and stick and look at and then throw away.
Easy to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glitter, I learned, is very bad for the environment.
I've heard that. I have heard that.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, I don't think I have any context at all, but I've heard that.
Glitter is plastic.
That would make
mostly.
Sense. That would make sense. Okay.
Not always, but a lot of it is. Glitter is bad for the ocean. Glitter is so small, it qualifies as a microplastic, which is very bad for sea life. Glitter can last for years and years and years. The plastic film from which most glitter is made takes about 1,000 years to completely biodegrade.
I don't like that it outlives me.
By a lot.
By a lot. By a little. You know,
this
whatever.
tube of glitter is going to last for 1,000 years.
I don't like that.
And there are so many tubes of
glitter.
glitter.
Are there tracking devices in it? CIA? FBI? How deep is rabbit hole going?
I feel like, what if we ate it? Would it help us live longer? Or shorter?
Probably less.
We'd
live less long. Yeah, probably.
There's no responsible way to dispose of it.
Because it's just, it's like an infestation. We've infested the earth with glitter.
We have. And whichever way you choose to dispose of it, there's still a big chance it's going to end up in the oceans, negatively impacting sea life. So an important tip I learned is don't wash glitter down the sink. How many times have I washed my hands in the sink?
Tell us. Admit it
I mean,
now.
I feel like I have personally killed a
50
lot.
dolphins.
50 dolphins.
And one sperm
at least
whale.
a dozen manatee. I'm sorry. Now I know I will never.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm gonna wash it, but I will.
I know that
not
I
wash
have.
it down the sink.
I'm actually maybe I might be an innocent here because I think I have every cool down bottle I've ever made.
You've never
still
dumped them
sealed.
out.
Still sealed. Yeah, no, I haven't.
We got to figure out how to responsibly dispose of our glitter.
Cool down bottles. Everyone needs a coping skill.
Some people are calling for bans to glitter. There are biodegradable glitter that is now being made. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's as shiny.
I have been planning my wedding, and I bought all biodegradable everything for like the utensils and all that. And I was surprised, like, they have biodegradable plastic cups. They look like plastic, but they're made out of plants, and they look exactly like a plastic cup. I was just thoroughly impressed by technology. That's all.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's more expensive, which is a barrier,
right,
to people purchasing them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are working on this biodegradable glitter that's made from plants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also, who asked the plants if they wanted to be turned into glitter?
Who asked the living organisms in your kombucha that you wanted to end up on your lap that one day? Nobody. They had no consent.
Do you consent to me drinking you? I heard a yes.
Aw.
It was like crackle, crackle.
Yeah, it sounded excited.
We will become one, flock goddess.
We will now become one organism.
We are now symbiotic. All right, so let's get to this conspiracy.
It's going great places. Sarah really should have been here.
So let's go back to that New York Times article that started it all. The journalist Katie Weaver asked GlitterX manager Lauren Dyer if she could tell her which industry served as GlitterX's biggest market. Simple question when you're looking into glitter, right?
Pretty simple.
Who do you sell your glitter to? Mm-hmm. Who's the biggest market? And the manager instantly said, no, I absolutely know that I can't. The journalist was taken aback and said, but you know what it is? And the manager said, oh God, yes. And you would never guess it. Let's just leave it at that. And then the journalist asked if she could tell her why she couldn't tell. And the manager said, because they don't want anyone to know that it's glitter.
WTF? Tell me more.
I know. And so the journalist said, if I looked at it, I wouldn't know it was glitter. And the manager said, no, not really. And the journalist said, would I be able to see the glitter? And the manager said, oh, you'd be able to see something, but I can't. So this is what started the whole internet swarming. They became a buzz with solving this mystery.
They do, yes.
So the question was, when the GlitterX manager said they don't want anyone to know that it's glitter,
who are they?
Who are they, and what is it? So those are the questions.
Big questions, yeah.
So this was 2018. 5 years ago. Last week, the YouTube channel Chuppel may have solved the mystery.
Chuppel.
Good old Chuppel. And so they may have ended this mystery. And my favorite kind of conspiracy is the one that ends up having truth to it. Let's dive in. Chuppel uncovered the shocking truth behind the glitter empire. They were able to get the interview that the New York Times couldn't get. They were able to interview someone directly involved with the other New Jersey glitter company. Ooh. The super duper secretive one. One is secretive, one is super duper secretive.
This reminds me of the movie The Interview. And until they scored the interview of a lifetime.
It's just like that.
Great. Yes. Okay. All those things happened for you to get this. Okay.
Let's go back in time a little bit. Back to July 16th, 1945.
I wasn't there, but yes.
On that day, the first nuclear bomb was detonated
Mm.
as part of the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project took shape at 3 primary locations: Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Los Alamos, New Mexico, and where was the third?
New Jersey.
No.
Oh, come on.
But really good guess.
Geez, that's all I got. Like, what else? Spokane, Washington?
Hanford, Washington.
Oh, we've been there.
We've been outside of there.
Oh, that's right. We didn't go in.
We drove to the highway we're on
right.
intersected right at the gates with all the warning signs.
Mhm.
And then we turned left.
Right. One of our wonderful nuclear places.
Yes. So I did not know that Hanford was one of the 3 primary Manhattan Project secret locations. It was a secret plutonium factory.
Interesting.
So interesting.
So sciencey.
And it's right down the street from us.
Yay.
So one of the people involved in the Manhattan Project was someone named Henry F. Rushman. Remember that middle initial?
F.
The inventor of glitter, quote unquote, inventor of glitter and founder of the Meadowbrook Glitter Company, which is that second New Jersey company. Mm-hmm. He was a machinist, toolmaker, inventor, and he was very skilled in the precision cutting of photo paper, film, and foils.
Sounds relevant.
In the late 1930s.
Films and foils?
Films and foils.
Was that intentional Fs? Were those intentional Fs or is this a conspiracy?
Photo paper, film, and foils. Photo paper sounds like an F too, so it's 3 F sounds in a row. What the actual F? A lot of connections here.
For real.
Too many to be a coincidence. For reals.
For real. I mean, can't keep saying for, or else it's just cheating.
In the late 1930s, when Mr. Rushman, F. Rushman, a German immigrant,
F. Rushman,
started working on the precision cutting of photo paper, film, and foils.
I can't unsee it now.
Working for Kodak, a photographic film company. So he started doing that. And, he got approached by the government. And we'll find out what happened. My notes are out of order. So
I thought that was just I was like feeling it grow.
I know, but it seems like my timeline is off. Okay. I'll skip that part. So the Chuppel guys, this YouTube channel, they found a 2021 article, which I had to go look up myself because I never take anyone's word for it.
Trust no one.
I always have to find the source material. So I found the article on paperfilmandfoil.com called The Discovery, and Development of Glitter. So one of the authors on this is Henry W. Rushman.
W. Different. W, not F.
So in this article, it says, in addition to motorboat hulls and automotive finishes, glitter would be mixed into cosmetics, fishing lures, inks, plastics, fiberglass, flooring, ceilings, countertops, tile, wallpaper, clothing, toys, arts and crafts, toothpaste, packaging, and laminated sheeting for labels and decals.
So it's basically like I mean, they're not even saying like it's like super strong or anything. It's just a like, I don't know.
Everywhere.
It's just a plastic.
Listen to this next part of the article. Meadowbrook's machines cut other particles for other uses, often on government contracts. Among the products included anti-radar chaff, slivers of zirconium to control the burn of solid rocket fuel, and iron fibers for airplane brake shoes. So this article confirms what supremacists have been guessing at, that glitter is used by the military and government.
Sorry, it feels like it's
that our whole
I
defense
like it.
infrastructure is built on glitter.
I like
Does it-
I like how it sounds.
How's that make you feel?
I like how it sounds, honestly. I want to tell someone of authority that at some point in my life.
It's true. It's real.
Yeah, I
You
just
can
want to
say
say
that.
the words and then
You
they'll
can
be
say that.
angry at me.
So this contributed to the article. Henry W. Rushman was Henry F. Rushman's son.
Oh,
Yep. And he, the son, developed holographic glitter in 1967.
okay.
And
okay.
that's in lots of security applications, like we just saw on our debit cards.
Mhm.
I think it's even on our money.
Because it's so rare and hard to make, so you can't reproduce it.
It's hard
easily.
to reproduce it, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
So this reflects all the colors of light in different directions, producing a rainbow effect.
And that's what they do, yeah, on money, and they hold it up and they see if it shimmers.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So the Chuppel guys were able to get an interview with Henry W. Rushman.
Wow.
And they were able to solve this mystery. So they went out and interviewed him. He said he was fired from the company by his siblings 30 years ago.
Hmm.
And he said that time it was like a $43 million company, and now he doesn't know what's going on with it. So his dad, so he shared the real truth here.
The truth.
And this is from the son.
Big T truth.
Yeah. And this is from the son.
Yes.
Who actually invented holographic glitter.
Like he's involved.
Very involved. Same name, different initial, middle initial. So he said his dad had this amazing reputation for precision cutting and then worked under government contracts for the Manhattan Project. After, of course, a background check because he was German and it was wartime.
I see.
So not only was he doing precision cutting work, he was also cutting mica into washers. You know what mica is?
Oh yeah, the shiny. Is it Fool's Gold? No.
I think that's pyrite.
Yeah.
But we have mica all over the place in Spokane.
Right.
We have mica
it's
pink.
shiny though, right?
It's very shiny.
Yeah.
Yes. I bet if we looked hard around the neighborhood, we could
more
find some.
silver.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. It kind of flakes off.
Yeah.
It's kind of soft and flaky.
Yep.
So part of his job in this government contract was cutting mica into washers. And then they would put plutonium rods through the mica washers, push it up against uranium, put dynamite on top of that, and that's what caused the nuclear reaction.
What?
So the inventor of glitter is directly involved with creating atomic bomb, nuclear bomb.
Wow.
Would you ever have made that connection? Glitter and atomic bombs?
No, I wouldn't. I was going into underground tunnels and space and spider webs. I mean, I think a case could be made if I spent enough time, but
we could probably, if we had enough yarn and enough corkboard, we could make the connections.
100%.
So when he was spinning the mica to make the washers, glittery flakes spilled out. Voila, glitter was invented by accident.
It was the debris.
It was the debris. Employees took this glitter home and used it to make Christmas decorations, and then it started being sold in stores.
Wow.
At first, it's Christmas decorations, like throw it on your tree.
Yeah, I mean, I pick up random things and take it home and say it's decorative. I don't know, pencil shavings. I don't know what else. Other debris.
You decorate your home with pencil shavings?
No, I don't. I can't think of other debris. What other debris might you pick up though?
That you might think is neat?
Yeah, that like is left behind by something else.
Some kind of bric-a-brac? I don't know. We're gonna have to think about that.
Yeah, that's it. Food for thought.
Oh, when you hole punch, you get all those little circles. You could throw them up in the air and pretend it's snowing.
Confetti. It's confetti.
Confetti.
It's confetti.
Fucking
what?
confetti.
Wow. Confetti is also glitter in a different way.
Confetti is also probably an accident. Or someone's like,
it's just the whole punch.
Somebody probably just picked up the mess, threw it in there and said, wow, that was fun. Let's sell that. Let's convince people that during a celebration, they need to throw this up.
And why? Because of a bigger conspiracy to be continued.
We'll get into the confetti conspiracy next time.
Full punch conspiracy?
No,
how I horribly wounded myself.
No, to do hole punches on?
When I was in elementary school, I had, you know, those
I
big
feel like
3-hole punch ones?
Yeah, I feel like you might have mentioned this, but talk about it
Okay.
again.
Okay, because it's so noteworthy. Noteworthy and hole punches. It's very topical.
Connected.
Yes. Anyways, I leaned over the 3-hole punch, and because you had to like put some weight into it, because you're not supposed to overload those with too much paper.
Right.
Right. Or it won't do what it's supposed to.
It won't go through all the layers.
Unless you put all your body weight into it.
Yeah.
Including a little bit of your own stomach. So
That's right. You did tell this before.
I still have a little hole punch
You hole
scar.
punch your freaking stomach.
I still have a little faint scar on my belly right here.
I thought that smarted.
It's like a perfect circle. Oh yeah, no, my whole shirt it happened so fast that it was one of those like you don't see right for a minute, and then I remember I was wearing a white shirt, and I remember I looked down, and all of a sudden it was just red. Yeah.
So, did the hole puncher cut a little circular piece of flesh out of your belly?
Yeah, the scar is this perfect circle.
But did you find the little circular piece of flesh?
I don't have no recollection of what happened after that moment. That is just
that part of you is out there somewhere.
That was just a trauma memory. Was that moment?
If you could have found it, you might have been able to put it back in. You might have reattached.
Like a tooth in milk. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I mean, I was just a child. I didn't know things like that.
If I was there, I'd been, Nancy, where's the flash
I
circle?
could have used glitter glue. I would have become a superhuman.
You could have. So Henry,
do not do this at home.
No, don't.
Whatever we talk about,
don't ever listen to this.
Ever.
Henry W. Rushman confirmed that the government currently uses glitter in anti-radar chaff. So they shoot it out the back of an airplane, it explodes, and then oncoming missiles will go to these fibers instead of aircraft.
That makes
so they'll
sense.
attract the missiles.
Yeah, that makes sense. Heat seek or not heat seeking, but metal
Shiny seeking.
Yeah. Glitter bombs.
There's also a secret battery project that our government is doing with Picatinny Arsenal, a military research and manufacturing facility, and these batteries produce more electricity than any known battery. So secret.
And battery production energy, that's something I know a little bit about. That's like be a future topic, but like it's actually really hard to make batteries and to have them last a long time. That's why like the electric cars are all, having good storage. All of that is really hard for that. So that's amazing. Why don't they share?
Well, because it's super secret.
But they need to share so people can go farther than 200 miles. I don't know how far people can go anymore. It's probably like 400 miles. I don't know.
He said there's also advanced rockets that the government is doing with glitter. So have we answered our question? Who are they and what is it?
The military and
the government. Yeah.
Weapons or defense.
Are they?
Weapons.
And they go through often third-party buyers. So it's not like a direct
dark web glitter buys. Glitter grab bags on the dark web.
Yeah. So I mean, I gotta tie it in with extraterrestrials. I mean,
I'm waiting.
Who knows?
I have.
They could be.
When you think you see a spaceship, it's not. Guess what it is?
Glitter.
It's fucking glitter. That's right, because remember you said you don't always see it. It's on this different spectrum. So when all of a sudden it's gone, glitter.
Or what if they're making it with that UV glitter?
Glitter.
Then we wouldn't be able to see it.
Right. They can disappear. Maybe they can learn how to put a
super
knob
secret
on it.
Cloaking.
They put one of those like dimmer switches on it, and they can turn it up or down.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to
all kinds
put
of
a dimmer
stuff.
switch on.
And they may have gotten the idea by trying to reverse engineer extraterrestrial craft that they recovered.
Good time.
Did it.
Good grounding. Right.
That's it.
I mean,
we solved it. Who are they and what is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the government and it's glitter.
Every damn time. All right. Well, that was fun.
I like to bring a topic that you would never guess that I would bring. It's like glitter.
I mean, I don't think you guessed my topic either, but it's not not really like a fun topic, but I don't know. I almost went serial killer route again. I veered. I veered because
Sometimes I get in the mood though, and I'll
no,
do like 3 in a row.
I was in it, and I even had talked myself into like it's okay to do it twice in a row if I really and I'm still gonna sit with it, but it ended up like actually feeling more like urban legend based on what I was digging up. But then it got like really big because of that, and like what is truth, what's not, and I just honestly didn't have as much time as I needed to give that either none of my attention, which is possible by the time I'm done figuring out if
Yeah.
it's worthy, or it's going to be really interesting. So to be continued on that.
All right, TBD.
This was
TBD.
my second thing that actually it was a stumble upon where I was like, wait, what? And I learned something. Have you ever heard that? Oh, I used this word earlier. Idiom. What does idiom mean?
I think it's a saying that's not supposed to make sense, like a small fry or like words that shouldn't go together or make sense.
I'm
Not small fry.
A group of words established by usage as having a meaningful, not deductible from those of the original words, like rain, cats, and dogs, and see the light.
Okay.
Okay, so like they're not
It's like a saying.
The words, yeah, the words themselves don't make sense. Oh, which is what they tell you, like when you write scholarly papers, don't use idioms.
So it's something that if somebody didn't know the
Context.
language, they wouldn't know what the heck you were
Right.
talking about.
Right.
So it'd be like, it's not raining cats and
Okay.
dogs. I don't
So
see any cats or dogs.
This is both an idiom and it's not.
Interesting.
Okay, have you heard of 40 acres and a mule?
I've heard the back 40.
The what?
Like if it's way out in your land, it's out on the back 40.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
And I did not hear that until I moved to this part of the world, just to let you know. People don't talk like that back in San Francisco.
No, I've heard that. I've had 3 at least statements recently come back where I'm like, well, you've heard of, oh, here's one of them. Tell me this. Have you heard of the phrase, I've got to get my poop in a group?
No.
What the fuck?
I have not heard that.
Okay, so I said that to 2 different people, like, oh my gosh, can you believe that so and so didn't know that? And then each one, including you now, has said, what?
I've heard ducks in a row.
It is a saying that's, I went and looked it up to make sure I didn't just make it up. And it is a saying that's used, and it's similar to ducks in a row.
I mean, I can surmise the meaning. I would probably never use it.
Have your poops in a group.
Because I don't really.
So now you can add that
have
idiom.
that kind of relationship with my poops.
You gotta have them in a group to then do what's needed.
But
if they're not in a group, they're spread out in your intestines.
Doesn't involve my do.
This has been my favorite podcast. Okay. Okay, so 40 acres and a mule. It's a thing that's said. Okay. Is that all you know about it? Is the back 40, which is completely unrelated?
Yeah, I mean it's related because it's about 40 acres.
I mean, I'm curious if it's relevant. I'm gonna just say that I'm not gonna talk about that.
It's related because it's land in a 40-acre chunk.
Yes. Okay. So this is, let's see here. This is so 40 acres and a mule is something I have heard. I have no idea like what it meant, why anyone would ever say it.
Well, when did you hear it?
I don't know.
Like, did somebody say it to you?
No. Oh. No.
Like, what's the context where somebody would say that?
Slavery.
It's from slavery times?
It's from slavery.
Oh.
So I'm going to share something that I found out about our history that honestly was pretty shocking to me. And then this 40 acres and a mule now makes sense. Like you didn't know what it, hadn't heard of it before, but some people may have heard of it and never knew what it meant. And there's kind of a reason for that, which also involves the government.
Dun, dun.
I love how this article I have, this is by Henry Louis Gates, by the way.
Good job citing your sources.
Starts by, we've all heard the story of 40 acres and a mule, but
have we?
Have we? I
have not.
I say nay. So this was actually a promise to former slaves.
Mm.
So again, I'm going to just be using terminology as it relates here, and I'm going to honestly skip things that feel not appropriate.
Is
There's
this
just
a dated article? Not
I
up to date terminology?
it is a little dated, not much. But it's no longer, the website's not actively maintained anymore. And they have direct quotes and stuff from resources that I don't have the original resource that uses terminology that just isn't appropriate. So I'm gonna skip over those things. It's not important in my context of what I'm talking about. So 40 acres and a mule. This was Spike Lee's film company is actually called that too, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. This was the promise to Black Americans at the time, after slavery was, after the Civil War, that they were going to be promised 40 acres.
And a mule?
Mule comes later. Okay, so that it would basically, with the separation, that there would be newly freed slaves at this time, and it was a really radical idea at this time that a policy like this could exist. And it actually got to the point where it was pushed forward into action, which I had not known about. So I just want to majorly stress how revolutionary it is to have the idea, especially at this time, so 63? I don't know, sometime around there. That they, between South Carolina and Georgia, they were going to just honestly completely revolutionize that whole region by providing 40 acres of land to former slaves. Part of this, one, just think about now, like how the dynamic race relations, everything in the United States would be different if that dynamic was set up, because part of it was that they would have the promise of ownership of land, of property, with a goal for them to be able to be self-sufficient economically, to build, accrue, and pass on wealth. There was even promise of having like military available, like on the borders, until they could have their own military or way to self-protect, and that there would be, that white people would not be able to intervene or become involved in any of their governing. I've never heard of this before.
I mean, it sounds
just
great. And that would have really changed a lot of things, because I mean, as I talked about in my redlining topic, you know, homeownership is the biggest indicator of wealth. And that's something that is passed on, and it's very difficult to start from scratch in that area and accrue wealth in that way.
Right. So that was the big promise that was made. And obviously now we know that didn't happen. That would have been about 3.9 million people that would have qualified for this.
So the idea was to give people like a start.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
40 acres. I'll talk about the mule in a bit. And it specifically said on just not agricultural lands, but what's the term for like it's able to produce?
I don't know.
Or fertile, maybe, I don't know. Like the land.
So it's good land. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like
what the U.S. government did to Native Americans by putting them on unviable lands in some areas. So that specific verbiage was in there.
Water sources, that kind of thing.
Correct. And actually a lot of the places that they had marked off, and I'll go through those in a second, were actually next to water. Okay, so the original person who was the source of this policy was General William T. Sherman from Special Field Order number 15. He issued this on January 16th, 1865. There we go. So he did prescribe the 40 acres, but not the mule. The mule actually came later when they were on the land. They were offered a mule to help with the agriculture part. Okay, so, but that wasn't the initial order. This massive land redistribution was the result of a discussion that Sherman and the Secretary of War, Edwin M. Stanton, held 4 days before Sherman issued the order. So they met with 20 leaders of the Black community in Savannah, Georgia, where Sherman was headquartered, following his famous, quote, March to the Sea, which I honestly don't know that. This obviously was a historian that wrote this that assumed all of us
knew about the
knew
March to the
about.
Sea.
Do you know about
I've
them?
never heard about the March to the Sea.
I feel like now I need to know, but I don't.
But honestly, you could say anything is famous something,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it doesn't mean it is. Like
That's true.
I cook mashed beans, and I always call them my famous mashed beans, just because.
If they poop in a group, and apparently nobody else does. Yes. So this was really unprecedented at this time. You know, obviously after the Civil War, and this was a great move historically into equality.
I mean, it sounds like a great idea. Was the land that was going to be given, who owned that?
These were plantation owners and previous people.
Okay, so it would be taking away from
redistribution. Yeah,
I mean, I can see that they would feel that's problematic.
So,
is that part of why it didn't work?
I mean, probably for multiple reasons, but so this is the actual verbiage in the order, which it says the islands from Charleston south, the abandoned rice fields along the rivers for 30 miles back from the sea, and the country bordering the St. Johns River, Florida, are reserved and set apart for the settlement of the people now made free by the acts of war and the proclamation of the President of the United States. Great. The section 2 of this order specifies that these new communities, moreover, would be governed entirely by Black people themselves. On the islands and in the settlements hereafter to be established, no white person whatever, unless military officers and soldiers are detailed for a specific duty, would be permitted to reside. And the sole and exclusive management of affairs will be left to the freed peoples themselves.
It's interesting. It's very segregated.
Yes.
I mean,
you're wondering, like,
my brain's like, how would that work exactly?
How
Is
would
it
you
a
feel
different
about it?
country? Like, what does that mean exactly?
I mean, it almost, when I was like looking this up, it sounds more kind of like the reservation model.
Okay.
But then tried to make it sound better. Because it's like a self-governing thing, but still on and surrounded by, and military can be there if they decide to. So
interesting.
Yeah, so that's what I equated it to, at least.
So it's not quite as idealistic.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you now have your own country. Right. So, I mean, well, we may never know. So let's see here.
Was there enough acres to go around everybody?
Yeah. It said it would be about 400,000 acres of land.
So somebody did the math.
Yeah, it was a strip of coastline stretching from Charleston, South Carolina, to the St. Rivers, John, Florida, including Georgia's Sea Islands and the mainland 30 miles in from the coast. So yeah, someone mapped that. And that section 3 of this proclamation thing said that the allocation of land, each family should have a plot of not more than 40 acres of tillable. That was the word I think. Tillable ground. And so they can't be given like a rock. And when it borders on some water channel with not more than 800 feet of waterfront, in the possession of which land the military authorities will afford them protection till such time as they can protect themselves, or until Congress shall regulate their title. So they're kind of building in protections and trying to, I mean, they've mapped things, they've done all this.
So it's just for those states, though. It wasn't like Texas and
No, it's just
Down.
that land chunk.
Just that area.
The 400,000 acres. Yep, which is a lot of land.
Yeah, but it seems strange that it wouldn't be for everybody.
Well, it's for everybody. It's for
Every
community
Black individual in the
free
country. So
previous
people
slaves, previous
like that lived in Texas, for example, would have to move
correct,
to the coast.
like a relocation.
So they now this is starting seeming more and more like at first I'm like, this is a great idea, but now that we get into the weeds a little bit, I'm like, so we want every Black person to live in one area of the country.
That's kind of
on the edge.
That's kind of what they came up with
the military around the edge.
And a
also,
mule.
this doesn't sound that great anymore to me.
Right, you start losing freedom of choice, perhaps. So they didn't say they'd force them. So it's not like there's verbiage in there around that, but you could see potentially, I don't know, there's areas.
I mean, that's a big draw, having your own land, your own self-government.
Right, like it sounds really good.
Ish.
Yeah, and it's just like it's the what if question marks that you're like, what if the government decided they don't want us here now? We're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Did anybody get their 40 acres?
Okay, so
Okay.
first. Okay,
so questions.
So many questions.
I've really been on an emotional roller coaster ride with this. I was like, that's a great idea. And now I'm like, that sounds like a terrible idea.
And just so you know, this was established by at the time radical Republicans actively advocating for land distribution. Republicans at this time were more like Democrats now, liberal and a thing. So just remember there's flip-flopping verbiage for people.
They're still flip-flopping.
I don't stay current. Okay, so the goal was to break the back of Southern slaveholders' power. So part of this is taking land from
redistributing the wealth.
Like, okay, you have used slavery for this many generations. We're taking your land and we're splitting it up and we're giving it back to.
Yeah, again, like great on the surface, but what does that look like when we start to implement it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that I don't want to speak to anybody's intent during this era. I have no idea. But it sounds like at this point there is some intent of advocacy, not necessarily maybe malice intended initially or whatever. So there you go. Okay. So this is really, again, being historically significant. That wasn't lost on people. So there was transcripts of these meetings and all these all of this is pretty well documented that it happened. It was read to the congregation at New York's Plymouth Church, in which the New York Daily Tribune printed in full it's February 1865 edition, and Stanton told, let's see here, for the first time in history of the nation, the representatives of the government had gone to these poor, debased people to ask them what they wanted for themselves. Stanton suggested, poor, debased I know, yeah. Stanton had suggested to Sherman that they gather, quote, the leaders of the local community and ask them something no one else had apparently thought to ask. Quote, what do you want for your own people following this war?
Well, and I love that.
Right.
I mean, we still today people make decisions for other people.
Right.
Without directly involving them.
And they actually did do this part. I like this. So that's how they got the 20 leaders in the areas. They were all ministers, mostly Baptist, Methodists, who came to be part of this.
So leaders of the community.
11 of the 20 had been born free in slave states, of which 10 had lived as freemen in the Confederacy during the course of the Civil War. The other one, a man named James Lynch, was born free in Maryland, a slave state, and had only moved to the South 2 years before. The other 9 ministers had been slaves in the South who became contraband, quote, and hence free only because of the Emancipation Proclamation when they were liberated. So want to call this part out because it's basically saying that, you know, the representatives aren't necessarily the majority of people who were impacted as, like, someone who lived in an area where there was slavery but they were born free is going to have a different experience and perspective than someone who was born a slave, living as a slave, and then exonerated. I don't know what that, liberated. I don't even like that word either. Okay, so that being said, they came together and they said that let's see here. The chosen leader of this group, spokesman, was Baptist minister named Garrison Frazier. He was 67. He had been born in Greenville, North Carolina, and was a slave until 1857. He purchased freedom for himself and his wife with $1,000 in gold and silver. So, as the New York Daily Tribune reported, Reverend Frazier had been in the ministry for 35 years, and it was he who bore the responsibility of answering these 12 questions that were put to the group about what they wanted. So, he told them that Sherman, that what they wanted the most out of everything is land. That
Makes
is the
sense.
best way we can take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
His answer to the crucial third question was to have land and turn it and till it by our own labor, and we can soon maintain ourselves and have something to spare. We want to be placed on land until we're able to buy it and make it our own. And when asked where the freed slaves would rather live, whether scattered among the whites or in colonies by themselves, without missing a beat, Brother Frazier, as the transcript calls him, replied that I would prefer to live by ourselves, for there is a prejudice against us in the South that will take years to get over.
Okay.
Which I get that.
Yeah.
Like in that context. When polled individually around the table, all but one, James Lynch, the man who had moved south from Baltimore, said they agreed with that. 4 days later, the special field order was issued after President Lincoln approved it.
Okay, so it was official.
Was official, and it was approved by the president. Okay.
So what happened?
The response was immediate. It was great.
So they won. This is what they asked for. They got
and they got it. And it was signed by the president of the United States.
They wanted land. They wanted to be together.
And to have the independence to grow. And yep.
So what happened?
The transcript of the meeting was reprinted in a Black publication called the Christian Recorder at the time, an editorial that noted an intoned quote, "From this it will be seen that people down south are not so dumb as many suppose them to be." Reflecting North-South slave-free Black class tensions continued during this time. So there's a lot of, I would say, tensions as this starts getting more publicity and starts rising up. And the freed Eric Foner, who's Eric Foner? I don't even know that. I'm not referencing that. But okay, so who knows who that person is? But who cares? It's passed, right? So like, but there's tensions, but it passed.
So people are grumbly about it.
Which of course
probably the plantation owners, I imagine.
They're grumbly anyways. So okay, so they're like, we need to go take advantage of this order. Yes. Baptist minister Ulysses Houston, one of the group, had met with Sherman, led 1,000 of the community to Skidaway Island in Georgia, where they established a self-governing community with Houston the person as a Black governor. Okay. And by June of that same year, 40,000 freedmen had settled on 400,000 acres of Sherman Island. Oh, it was happening. How come I've never heard of this? By the way, Sherman later ordered that the army could lend the new settlers mules, hence the phrase 40 acres and a mule. Lend. So it was a mule borrowing system. Right. So what happened? Yeah, what happened? Because like it worked. I mean, maybe not everybody, but like it was. There were some people doing it.
What did you say,
And
4,000 people?
so this is Lincoln, who's in office at this time. Yeah. No, 400,000 acres and 40,000 people.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So Andrew Johnson
Okay.
then takes office. He's a sympathizer with the South. He
Mm.
overturned the order that following fall in
It's
1865.
that easy?
I guess. And as Martin Myers sadly concludes, quote, return the land along South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida coast to the planters who originally owned it, to the very people who declared war on the United States. Correct.
Interesting. So they all had to leave the land?
Mm-hmm.
Sherman Island.
So they gave up everything to go there.
All right.
I mean, and
Relocate.
uprooted and relocated, and were living that quote unquote American dream of having your own land and making something of it, and then self-government, and then it was just
unless the military needed,
and then they were kicked out with nothing, kicked out with nothing, and
all because of Johnson,
and it was all given back, all because of Johnson.
Is he on any of our money? Because we shouldn't use that money.
I know. I was, again, same as you. I'm like, how have I never heard this?
Well, in my mind's like, how different might things be if that had not been overturned?
Right.
Like,
how? Because it was there.
Could be completely different.
It was there and it happened.
Yeah.
It was there and it happened. And I still don't like, and I.
So those people were kicked off and then didn't have any home after that? Like, they just had nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Right. I mean, again, adding to the more like historical generational trauma, like,
yeah.
Wow, that's like
that's a lot of people. 40,000 people. That's like a whole city of people.
Yeah. No, and it's yeah, no, I was just shocked and appalled. Isn't that interesting? Huh.
Yeah, that would have done a lot to bridge some of these gaps and some of these issues.
Well, and
who knows what would have happened.
And I get the segregation part of it doesn't feel great. Like it does feel like, but we can't say that that's how things would stay either. Like maybe relations would get better over time, potentially, having that respect
if that's
given.
What those Black individuals wanted, that's different than being like, all of you go live here.
Right. And it was all by choice. No one was forced to move. Right. And it was not like they said, okay, everybody go. It was just available. Yeah.
And who knows, over time, if they actually owned the land title, they could sell it perhaps to a white person, right? I mean, there were no laws that said like only Black people can live there.
Well, that was one of the things that
that was a lot of
Yeah, because the only
racism. They didn't want any white people there. But like I said, who knows how that would have evolved over time. So that's what 40 acres and a mule means?
Yeah, well, that's what it's referenced, and so historically it's been like used.
Is it like a promise that has been taken back? Is that the use?
I think it's been so disconnected historically that people say it like they think they know what it means, and I don't, or like even a reference. I don't even think they fully understand like that association of taking back something. I don't even think they know that. I think like 40 acres and a mule, like it sounds like a lot promised for nothing. Okay.
Is that how people use it? Like that?
I mean, you say how people use it. I've never
need to know the history of it if you're gonna use it.
I'm gonna, if I ever hear it ever again, I'm gonna sit down very calmly and I'm gonna say, tell me what happened. And if they can't, I'm gonna take 40 acres and a mule away from them. Yeah, and they can never use it again. So there you go.
That was fascinating.
Right. When I found that, I was like, how? I mean, I know there's so many historical things I'm not.
No, so many.
And history honestly is probably more terrifying than most things. Like nature. Nature's scary.
We're always, learning new things on this that everybody should be taught.
The podcast.
I know. We educate, we entertain, and we enlighten.
And we have fun doing it.
We do.
See, here, I'm going to pull up so if you type in 40 acres and a mule in Google.
Okay, what's it say?
It says, and I don't have on my phone, it erases any data stuff, so it's not pulling up anything from before. It says 40 acres and a mule is a part of special field order, blah, 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 and it actually gives the historical reference immediately. But nobody
looks it up.
Right. And I'm like, why?
Nobody looks up anything.
And PBS apparently did a story about it, but I guess very few people watch PBS.
I don't have
Or
that
maybe
channel.
everybody watches PBS. I don't know. It's on Wikipedia. Like it's on the History Channel. Like I made sure it was real. Just want you to know.
I'm gonna listen and hear. I'll let you know if I hear somebody use that term.
It was that first kind of step toward reparations that was immediately taken back. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, I can't even
I will text you
find
immediately when I hear
like
something.
I can't even find like how people say that phrase.
Yeah, I was wondering like what's the context where someone would respond that
Like
way.
slang, anything. I can't find anything where it's actually like, again, like associated with a meaning, but I've heard it, but I've no historical context whatsoever. So like where and why and how are people even, words matter.
Of course they matter. Words are
We need
powerful.
a shirt that just says words matter. We need a hashtag maybe.
Well, let's do it all.
Okay, everything.
Shirts,
all at once.
stickers, hashtags. No glitter though.
No. I just had a random thought. I was like, I can't do that. We should have a shirt with every podcast title on it with guts.
We don't have a big enough shirt.
I know. I haven't have too many shirts.
There'd be too many.
Guts.
It would be unreadable.
What would be another good one?
There's been so many.
I can't think of any of them now.
There's so many we can't think of any.
Uncle.
I don't think we ever had a podcast
basement. No.
called Uncle Puzzle Basement.
No. I don't. I give up. That's all. I'm done.
Okay, if you didn't listen to our last podcast, we talked about serial killer Joaquin Kroll.
Good job.
And we talked about my experience accidentally eating maggots.
And we touched maggots in here. I didn't touch it, but I opened it.
I had to prove to you.
There were, and I found 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6 maggots.
Yeah.
3 out of 6.
Which means I ate probably about 50 maggots.
I wonder if those have become part of you as an organism as well.
If I start doing maggoty things,
I'm gonna be like, you maggot.
Or if I toot and a fly flies out of my butt.
Or if glitter does. I'm gonna be concerned.
It's all deeply concerning.
Correct. I think the moral of today is government conspiracy.
Government.
So, okay. Glitter. I'm gonna put glitter. I'm gonna say 4.
Okay.
Because glitter is kind of a happy thing. It also has some dark things, like it kills things, and I found out it kills more things than I thought it killed, like people.
I'll just go to 4.5.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, there's a lot we don't know. If more comes to light, that number could go up.
Right. I want to know what the mysterious F has to do with stuff.
I'm gonna have to do a 9 for yours because it's just so effed up.
Yeah, I'm honestly gonna keep it. I'm gonna go 9.
You might have to. I mean, I'm just imagining how different
I know it kind of
messes. Could be.
It kind of messes with your whole mental schema.
Like it's a whole sliding doors thing.
Ooh,
like what would the parallel trajectory of our country be if that had been allowed to stay and grow? Things could be completely different, unrecognizable even to our current reality.
And I think I'm gonna actually put a 10. I mean, pretty close to yours. Just because I one, not knowing anything about it, and the whole idea that okay, so to me the correlation with like Native American tribes and obliterating them to steal their land, and like that happened, and then we put them on land and as a government and did similar things to that, but at that time viewing them as like they were less than people.
Right.
That's how the US government viewed.
Yeah, justified it.
Correct. And so here's them literally fighting a war to abolish slavery, to prove that there is equality and that we need to respect that and do that. And we still couldn't fathom following through
with real actions that would demonstrate we value
real
equality.
action, and it's all circles around a white centric
Power
dynamic.
structure, yeah.
And like, even if you want to say those things, the follow through is not there. It's false.
It's false. It's a fallacy.
And it's created fractures. We can stop there. So
it's a lot to think about. I'll be thinking about it all night.
Anyways, I just like again.
Somebody should do.
It still just doesn't make sense.
A story, like a science fiction story about that sliding door. Like what?
I have a book.
What could our world be like if that had not been taken back?
I have a book called What If that was given to me, and I've never read it. I read it because it's this big, and then someone else gave it to me. So, but it is a whole book full of historical accounts of things that, like, what if this went a different way? And it does give like a short little thing about what that might look like.
I'm fascinated.
I'm actually gonna go look at that book and see if it has that in there. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm always like looking at those sliding door moments in my own life. I was just telling my sinister, I'm like, there are so many things that if that hadn't happened exactly the way they did, you wouldn't exist.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Like so many things that I wouldn't have thought was like relevant or important, but looking back, it's like if that hadn't happened in that exact way at that moment, you wouldn't exist, Skylar.
I mean, sometimes they need those reminders. I mean, everything from like our own podcast, your redlining topic about them getting just effed over. Like, I still think about shade after your topic all the time.
I know, me too. Nobody knows about
the privilege of having trees is that you are not scorched by the sun all day.
And that shade is a real privilege that shows
marked off and
economic areas
located over burning skin like mine. Like, I would crisp up, and I have taken for granted that I have 4 trees on my property. And since that episode, I appreciate even my little tree that's grown from nothing. I'm proud of that little thing. But it's
very interesting.
Yeah, it's
like if you put socioeconomic map and shade, it's highly correlated.
If you haven't listened to that episode, it's very, very eye-opening. But it's where people live and the I don't know, the resources around that are deliberately decided.
So much is deliberate. I mean, have you seen that fucking freeway?
Oh gosh,
that has ruined Hilliard. I mean, I feel so bad for those people. It's right next to their houses.
And they ripped through everything and just like all the way across.
Yeah, I just feel so bad for the people that have lived there, their whole lives, and now they're going to be next to the roar of the fucking freeway. It's right next to their houses. And that was purposely chosen, that neighborhood, because it's low socioeconomic area and people can't fight back and make a fuss.
Right. They'll pay them off with not much. What's next? Fracking? Until next time.
Don't wash your glitter down the sink.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And I don't know, maybe homeschool your kids and teach them real history.
I homeschooled my kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why they're so great.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that because I am upset. I want a real history book.
Knowledge is power. if we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the power.
Right. I want a real history book that has everything.
Everything. I know. I want it all.
And I want it now. Bye.